Bizarre Brain Comics. Ha! Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I am Gary, your host, and this time I thought it might be fun to take a look through just a handful of some of my science fiction slash spacey comic books. And I got a nearly random baker's dozen here. But here, the first one is this one right here. From 1996, Above Top Secret Comics, featuring the collected artwork of Wes Crum. That's no relation to Robert Crumb. It's a different spelling. And see that also. It's not really a comic. It's a book featuring UFO-related illustrations. And I think this is Eyes Only Comics. And I believe these were illustrations for really for articles in magazines such as Fate and the like. It's some nice work, really nice work. And this is issue 2. Issue 2, and I've never seen any of the others except online. I don't know how many he did. But I I like them. I'd like to see some of his actual comic book stories. If he, I saw him listed on Facebook and stuff. Then, after that, we have Lance Kerrigan of the Galactic Legion. This was from 1983, I think it was. This is number 1, with this is a cover by Mike DiCarlo. But the good thing is, it was written and drawn by Jay Despero, who is now gone. He did a few of these. He is an artist best known for his, I guess, comics work in the 1950s, and his style is definitely very retro, even at in the 80s. But it is just lovely. It has a very old-fashioned look to it and style to it. Almost golden age, I would say. Like something you might expect to see in the comic strips, but it's black and white. He's done some others. I've got I think at least one other of his Lance Kerrigan books, and one or two others. And from what I understand, Guandanaland Books has published some of his horror stuff, reprinted some of his horror stuff. They had what was it, The Monsters of Jay Despero, and but it's some nice, really nice stuff, and fun. And this is from Quest Comics, and this is the only stuff I've ever seen published by them. The Despero that I can think of or that I'm aware of. May have just been all that I wanted to pick up. Then we have from Dell Comics from 1972. It's Spaceman. This was Spaceman what, number 8? Was it? Number 10. Spaceman number 10, but it is a reprint from 1961. Or 60. It said 60, 61. Very, and from a time when the were very a lot of science fiction stuff in the late 50s and early 60s because of the new space race and all the spacey stuff, science fiction-y sounding spacey stuff going on in the real world. And I don't know who did this cover illustration. And this is at a time when I never saw Dell Comics as a kid because they had split with Gold Key, and all I saw was Gold Key, and I didn't even know until much later that Dell was still publishing books because of that split. Because at the BFE town where I grew up, we just didn't get Dell. It was surprising. And this is Jack Sparling interior art. He did some nice stuff. He did a lot of nice stuff, especially like his Bomba the Jungle Boy for DC. Then we have from 1968, and I didn't catch the number. It doesn't matter. I think this was 8 or something. The Outer Limits, or 18, something like that. The Outer Limits. And a nice cover painting. And monsters, you know, of course, tied into the Outer Limits TV show. And this is also a reprint from earlier in the decade. And it's drawn by Jack Sparling. Then we have another Outer Limits, because you notice the last one was 12 cents. This is 15 cents. This is from 1969, I think it was. Yeah, 1969. Again, and that's kind of rough. It's someone had put some tape on there that got torn off. Nice cover painting. Some more stuff. And unlike most of the books at the time of this kind of nature, it's not an anthology with several stories. It is one book-length story. You know, like the show was. The Outer Limits was 1/2 hour. Was it a half hour or an hour long episode? I don't remember. And it was just an anthology in that it was different stories every year. This is kind of rough. You can see it falling apart. But again, some great Jack Sparling art. Then we'll go over to Gold Key. This is, I may have shown this one before with something else. 1965, Space Family Robinson. The corner with the price tag was missing, but it would have been 12 cents. Of course, Lost in Space Family Robinson. So it's, Space Family Robinson Lost in Space on Space Station 1 is the complete title. This time it was just Space Family Robinson before the TV show of Lost in Space with Space Family Robinson. Not affiliated with these. And of course, I don't know, probably Gaylord Dubois wrote it, I don't know for sure, with Dan Speigel artwork in there. And I think Dan Speigel did all of the entire run of Space Family Robinson Lost in Space. And they are all good fun. Then here's another one. Space Family Robinson Lost in Space. This is from 1969, was it? And I'm not seeing it. There it is. Yeah, 1969. Again, another nice cover painting. I think these were both done by George Wilson. And lots of drama, a lot of action, and this is a 15-cent cover price from 69. Dan Speigel interior art. And both of these books then had, after the Space Family Robinson, had a backup story of Captain Venture. And there's a couple astronauts crash landed on some planet, and they're lost there on that planet. All kinds of menaces and dangers. So it's Captain Venture. Then we go to also from, this was 1968, might have been 69, 15 cents, Captain Venture and the Land Beneath the Sea. It's the same guys. But what it is, even though it doesn't say so in here, because this is issue number 2, and it is shortly after they've crashed on on this planet. So it is basically representing the original stories, which was serialized. So they could from Lost in Space, they could and it was serialized in that backup, and so they just wove it all together into one overall issue. Again, with art by Dan Speigel. Then we move up. This is from, what was it, 1980. Walt Disney's The Black Hole. This is, of course, an adaptation of Walt Disney movie The Black Hole. A cover, photo cover. This has no ads except for the back cover, and is the complete adaptation, which was originally published as 2 issues. The whole 48-page comic adaptation of the movie, and again, it is drawn by Dan Speigel, who was so good at doing this stuff. He did so much stuff, especially for Gold Key, all through the 60s and 70s until the demise of Gold Key. And especially a lot of stuff that, because he had a very nice, realistic stylization and stylization, that he did a lot of TV and movie tie-in material. There we go to 1967. King Comics. Which issue is this? Number 8. Flash Gordon number 8 from King Comics. Now, this is 12 cent cover price. This is from actually, that had about a 2 or 3 year period when King Features Syndicate, the newspaper comic strip syndicate that owned Flash Gordon, the Phantom, Prince Valiant, and Mandrake the Magician, and those, they started publishing comic books themselves with new original material. And this one, I don't know who the writer is, but I can clearly tell who the artist is Al McWilliams, who is also did a lot of the Gold Key Star Trek. But he did some Flash Gordon and various other things. He even did Masters of the Universe books. But one thing, he was, and here his style is very lovely. This is, I have to say, I think this is probably the most beautiful and lovely artwork I have seen by Al McWilliams. And possibly he had someone else inking it, but I doubt that. What the thing is, though, it still quite clearly reflects his style, but he was, I believe, imitating the style of Mac Rayboy, who did the comic strip through the 40s and in the early 50s. And because I can see that kind of influence in there, and his work was just fantastic, but this is just some really, really lovely and a fun adventure story, and of course it's all complete, even though it's semi-serialized, because they're going in a series of adventures, one right after the other, one leading into another one, but each adventure is complete in one issue. And sometimes they would have this is before Charlton got the license, and Charlton did sometimes did 2 or even two stories per issue. There we go. Now we go to the King from Marvel Comics, number 1, 2001: A Space Odyssey. Now this is not an adaptation of the movie. That was done in the large tabloid Treasury editions. This is, they may have done an adaptation as well for this floppy size. I don't remember. Of course, written and drawn by Jack Kirby. This is what would have been, what, 75, 76, 75. Jack Kirby. Of course, great Kirby art. And of course, Marvel's Machine Man came out of 2001. I don't know how they tied them together, but anyway. Now we go to Charlton Comics. This is from 1977, I think it was. It doesn't matter. It's Space Adventures, but it is reprinting the original stories from the very first stories of Captain Atom from Steve Ditko in here. And this is some of his, I think, some of his best work. The stuff that he did later in the like in the 70s for especially for Charlton in the horror comics. I love his work, but he is just draftsmanship is much superior here than what he did, most of what he did in the 70s, and is probably more time consuming. Okay, and then here we go. Now we go to 1999. Not the year, but space. 1999. This is also from Charlton Comics. They had, what I have here are two. This is what we're finishing up with. Two magazine-sized. I also have a few issues of the color color standard-sized comics of Space 99 from Charlton Comics, and these are the black and whites with the beautiful gray Morrow cover paintings, and with various creators in them. Right, Mike Sikowski is one of the not Mike Sikowski, Mike Pawlowski. Mike Pawlowski did a lot of the writing. I don't know who all did it, and with various artists. They didn't give artists credits for the most part, but I know this art, but I can't think of who it is. But they the artists who also did a lot of the Warren stuff, work with Warren Comics. And some of the interior art is also of these is by Gray Morrow, who of course did the cover paintings. And this one actually has the comic adaptation of the season 2 premiere episode, which introduced the character of Maya. All done by Gray Morrow. So, and I plan on covering some of Space 1999 regular comics sometime. But that is all I've got for you this time for some wonderful science fiction comics books. A lot of fun reading. And I hope you enjoyed that. Please like, share, subscribe, and do leave a comment. What science fiction comics do you like best? And which of these would you like to see more of? Let me know in the comments below. And remember, comics are art.